Siyabonga wahamanati oh wahamanati
Greetings from the Friends World Committee for Consultation World Plenary, held August 5th to 12th, 2024, online and in Vanderbilt Park near Johannesburg, South Africa. 500 friends have gathered, coming from 53 countries and representing 95 yearly meetings, worship groups, and Quaker organizations. Half of them joined the gathering online, individually and organized in 50 hubs all over the world. Our theme is Living the Spirit of Ubuntu, responding with hope to God's call to cherish creation and one another. Ubuntu is a Zulu word that speaks to the power and ceaseless work of the Holy Spirit between us, enabling us to grasp that I am because we are. Prior to this gathering, 46 of the young adult friends among us came together for 4 days of shared experience, conversation, reflection, laughter, worship, and song.
This was the first World Plenary gathering since the COVID-19 pandemic, an ever-worsening climate crisis, and new global conflicts. What would a world conference be like? What themes will emerge? What will come out of this world gathering of friends? What is living the spirit of Ubuntu?
My name's Simon Lamb, and at the moment I'm clerk of FWCC. We started as an organisation in 1920. 1937, friends met at Swarthmore College and founded what is now FWCC, and they were very determined to add the word for consultation to the end of the name. I'm not the Pope. We are not a group where there is a hierarchical system. And we've since then had 5 other conferences. And this is the first hybrid online in-person conference or event we've really organised.
Sanibonani. I see you.
Help us also to remember that we are all one in Christ Jesus.
We arrived and we greeted. And we really spent 2 days, I would say, arriving. There's been early morning Bible study. There's been early morning unprogrammed worship. There's also been home groups. So almost every day, just after breakfast, a smaller group of people have come together in a more informal space.
In those home groups, we have created a community because people are coming from different countries, and then we gather together and we share and looking at the theme of the conference. And when we are sharing, we are learning from one another because FWCC brings all cultures together.
And there's been plenary worship. So there's 4 sections in Friends World Committee for Consultation, and each of these has had either 1 or 2 opportunities to lead all of us in worship according to the cultures or the languages or the traditions that are represented within those sections. If this event was just that, people got the right food or they got the kind of bedroom that they want or they had a smooth transfer from the airport, or that's not a transformational event, that's a nice week. No, we don't exist to just create nice weeks for people. We exist to create brave space where maybe everyone's a little bit uncomfortable and where the spirit moves.
The dialogue is necessitated by a leaking bucket. The bucket in this nursery rhyme refers to God's word, and the holes are the problems that affect our world today, which we are called to participate with the Mother Creator in fixing.
It's so good to be with you here. My name is Bridget, and I work with an organization in Washington, D.C. called the Friends Committee on National Legislation.
In that context of extreme polarization, nationalism, divisions, Mennonites felt the call to be this kind of creative minority.
I want to take the opportunity also to extend my gratitude to FWCC for making this amazing conference available to us. It is true that there is a section called Europe and Middle East section, but I think the Middle East is me.
I think it's Bishop Tutu who said that in terms of spreading Christianity within the continent, that the Bible was given to the Africans and they were asked to close their eyes to pray. And when they opened their eyes, they had the Bible and the land had gone. So from a teaching perspective, I create that space for us to begin to interrogate Ubuntu and to recreate the Ubuntu, both in the community and also in the spaces where students go to work. Because sometimes Ubuntu is romanticized. It's seen as this is the perfect space, the perfect community. And as a Quaker, then 3, allow them to look at global and economic inequalities that sometimes we want to bury when we talk about this nice, wishy-washy Ubuntuism.
Ame majada, give a wabidaba, gini gume gana, gune gingoba, gune gingoba. Ame majada, give a wabidaba, gini gume gana, gune gingoba, gune gingoba. Ame majada, give a wabidaba, gini gume gana, gune gingoba, gune gingoba.
I want you to know that there's a lot of very courageous work going on in your name, the Quakers in Gaza today. Serena, Adham, and Firas, and many, many volunteers who are doing the humanitarian work while they themselves are being tormented every day. They have lost so many, tens of family members. They lost their homes. They have been displaced once, twice, 3 times again. They've lost so much weight. Please continue to pray for them and for their safety and hold them in the light.
Right sharing of world resources was actually born out of the FWCC World Plenary in 1967.
Women do more work than men. They have children, they need to get food for children, they need to care for this and that and that and that, but they're less empowered economically. So the focus of ride sharing focused more on empowering women. The money they get from ride sharing is a grant, but when it reaches to the women group, individual woman is given as a loan by the group, and seeing the impact it is doing, that they are able to use the little grant they get to manage their food security on the table and be able to send their children to school is a game changer. With a saying we say, if you want to help somebody, teach them how to fish. And this program is a program that is teaching these women, vulnerable women in the community, how to fish, eat that fish, sell the other, and continue to live and inspire others. It is infectious program and a transformative, more so on economic empowerment.
We're going to be dealing this week with a lot of what are called thread groups, 3 different thread groups.
One looking at care for creation, one looking at Ubuntu, and one looking at addressing, healing and repairing historic and continuing injustice.
All of those come out of concerns that have been evident in FWCC for some time.
People do want to talk about care for creation. The last 2 World Plenaries, that's been the top thing that Quakers everywhere have united around. Despite all of our differences, they said, we share a common planet and we think we've got a role in protecting it.
We're in an existential crisis in relationship to climate change, that we're well behind schedule, but are making small degrees of progress in some ways. It's not that we're reducing our greenhouse gas emissions globally yet. Some countries are, but overall we're still rising. But that significant efforts have been made to reduce the rate of that curve. We face intersecting crises, the crisis of war, climate change, fundamentally interconnected. Injustice around the world, if we think about, we're here in Africa. 10 times as much resource flows out of Africa than into Africa. Africa is still developing the developed world, and we are underdeveloping Africa. We are impoverishing that. And at the same time, we're facing climate change here. Climate change will hit Africa first and worst, despite it having almost nothing to do with creating the problem in the first place. So Africa is systemically vulnerable to climate change due to a lack of infrastructure, and we are responsible for that systemic vulnerability and the crisis that's creating the threat in the first place. There's a lot of Quaker responses that have been pretty meaningful. We have a mini grants program, and there's friends down in Veracruz, Mexico, who have been doing this over 10-year-long cloud forest regeneration project, then supporting it from the monthly meeting and with QEW. And cloud forest is one of the most endangered types of forest on Earth at this point. Used to be 12% of the Earth's ecosystems, now it's 1%. Incredible hotspot for biodiversity, and I think that effort has been one of the ones I've been most proud of QEW supporting. We have to become hope. It's not about having hope. It's not about, oh, I hope it all works out. You have to become it. So being peaceful is not good enough. You have to actually have an active form of peace. You have to have a prophetic and influential and powerful form of peace that's able to shift the warmongering cultures of the world back towards something deeper.
I wonder how much this human-centric gathering is drawing us away from the life that is calling to us, from our siblings of the earth, the animals, the plants. The problems we are trying to solve cannot be solved with the same mind that created them. A few years ago, Anna Breitenbach and a few others felt led to communicate with the species of elephants. And they thought, let's ask the ones whose lives we have taken and are continuing to take, what can we do to reconcile our relationship with you? The elephants told them to stop trying so hard to save them because they know that their time on this planet is coming to an end. And they do not blame us. But what the elephants and the animals who I have communicated with in the past years, what the earth herself is asking of us, and what God is asking of me, is to simply be present, to truly see each other, to be present with each other, to listen and to learn to love.
About the excursions, the Apartheid Museum, it's a museum about the history of our land when we were divided. It's very, very good. Emotional, prepare yourself, just absorb it. But I think we need to confront that kind of history because it's not totally gone. It bubbles here and there. The other one is the cradle of humankind. That is where they found the origins, the Homo sapiens, with the excavations. Very well done, but be prepared because you may find yourself squeezing it little balls, but very informative. I encourage you so that we know where we come from. And we will actually find where we're going to.
Me encontré con Pab en este caso. Entonces, la mayoría de mis compañeros en el camino de fuera son cuáqueros.
And then I got involved with ABP, and I have lots of friends who are Quakers, and were working on ABP, and it's been like 15 years since I've been involved with all this. We go to communities, we go to jail, we go to schools, and we try to present the peace gospel in a different way.
Tuvimos contacto con un grupo que se llama Comadres, que es el Comité de Madres y Personas Desaparecidas durante el conflicto armado.
But now we are also working with an organization called Comadres. It's an organization who help people who lost people during the civil war that Salvador lived.
Eso incluso lo vemos acá. No pretendo que crean lo mismo que yo, ni creo, o sea, pero hay un respeto.
I'm not pretending that everyone could believe as I do. Neither I had to believe what others believe, but we respect each other.
이 세상 모든 것 내게서 멀어져 가도 언제까지나 너만은 내게 남으리 다정한 연인이 손에 손을 잡고 걸어가는 길.
Human biological evolution has shown external changes and diversity associated with the latitudinal zones. We were writing this in the scorching Moscow heat. Plants are our friends. These are the lungs of the entire planet, and their protection is of paramount concern. Nature has unique restoration abilities, and it is alive. It has soul and spirituality, which humans are dependent on. Do we have more spiritual and at the same time more practical ways to cooperate with the biosphere and all species constituting life on the Earth? As one of the species, could we become wise stewards and not destroyers through greed and senseless consumerism?
Peace and Service Network is a structure within EMS which unites different Quaker organizations, communities, and groups. And I'm very active, particularly in that subgroup for conscientious objection. Since Russia started its invasion into Ukraine and after the mobilization which started in Russia in September 2022, more than 1 million youngsters left Russia for other countries, and some of them could be definitely called conscientious objectors. The similar situation is in Ukraine, but in a bit different way, because men aged from 18 to 60, unless they are disabled or have other reasons not to serve in the army, cannot leave the country. And me, some other Georgian Quakers, we have been active helping Ukrainian refugees living in Georgia, and also through the Georgian NGO Act for Transformation Caucasus Office, we implemented a project for the relief for Ukrainian refugees who stay in Georgia. And a deserter from Russia, who is a programmer and engineer and former military officer of the Russian army, we started a project which is aimed to teach conscientious objectors and deserters programming. I hope that the war will be over soon, and that's not an aim, but it's a dream. So the war would be over soon and people will quit suffering from being in refuge.
즉 우분투가 되어야만 한다는 것입니다. 그러면 평화롭게 행복하게 잘 살게 될 것이기 때문입니다. 그것을 함축한 젊은이들의 노래가 있습니다. 한번 불러보겠습니다.
People do want to talk about continuing and historic injustice, and they've wanted to talk about that for a while.
In 2017, we met in Rwanda, and out of that Central Executive Committee meeting, a young friend brought a concern about issues to do with historical injustice. And it's out of that that we bring you this thread today.
I'd like to thank FWCC for having a thread this year that looks at historical racism and is also talking about reparations in some way. When I started going back to worship, I also started experiencing racism, which I didn't understand because I had been taught that Quakers were abolitionists. Quakers did all kinds of work to fight against racism. So why was I experiencing that? I decided that what was important for me to do was to then do some research. And I came across Sarah Mapps Douglas. Sarah was the first one that I encountered where she was telling about her own experience and her family's experience in Quakerism and the racism that they were experiencing. Then in 2000, my meeting gave me a travel minute to work with Quakers around the issue of racism. One part of it for me is to support Quakers of color and bringing us together and building community among us. The other part is to help people understand white supremacy and colonization and why it is important that we as a community, as Quakers, we need to identify and stand up and root out the white supremacy and racism that is in our community. I was asked to write the book Fit for Freedom, Not for Friendship, Quakers, African Americans, and the Myth of Racial Justice. One of the things that I did find out was that their relationship that I was told about was a myth, and that there's always been racism that's been a part of that relationship.
Quakers are struggling with their own racism. We've all, as Quakers, decided worldwide, I believe, that we want to become an anti-racist, multicultural faith community. I practice my indigenous, traditional practices, and I'm also a birthright Quaker. When I first started interacting with Quakers, I had already been immersed in my indigenous community, but I had also been living my Quaker values. I felt that they were not prepared for a person of color to act as an equal.
And we invite us all to work towards hope and restoration, true, genuine restoration.
We in Britain are on a journey. Guided by our testimonies, we want to listen and share with the world family of friends with open minds and hearts. We have faith that the breadth of experience and wisdom across the world family is a rich resource to guide us and friends everywhere. Think it possible that you may be mistaken. Be open to new light from whatever source it may come. Walk cheerfully over the world, answering that of God in everyone. And when opportunities arise, do take them.
Ayúdame a mirar con tus ojos. Quiero sentir con tu corazón. Quiero vivir más siendo insensible. Tanta necesidad, oh Jesucristo. Ayúdame a
Les habla Jaciel Ávila de la Reunión General de los Amigos en México. Su tiempo, su esfuerzo, su dedicación y por venir con un corazón dispuesto a aprender y compartir. Hay un salmo que dice cuán grande y cuán valioso es que los hermanos convivan y pasen un tiempo en armonía. Y es justo lo que vamos a hacer y por eso queremos que este espacio sea de mucha bendición para sus vidas.
I am the national coordinator of a Friends Women's Association, and the projects we are running are related to health and to gender-based violence. We have a clinic which is called the Haseka, and there we run a project which is called Improving Women's Reproductive Health. In Burundi, we have overpopulation. We have an average of 5.3 children per woman. When we started that project, we have moved from 120 people per month who are coming for family planning methods to an average of 624 at the end of 2023. And also we have another project which is called the Caring for HIV positive people. We provide medical care to HIV positive people and psychological care, and also we provide nutritional support for those who don't have food. We have a project which is called Rape Survival Support. We run a trauma healing workshops for gender-based violence survivors. And then we encourage them to organize themselves into self-help groups as a way to empower them economically. If we continue to work together and to support each other, we can keep on bringing our small contribution in the world to bring a positive change.
And people want to talk about Ubuntu, and Ubuntu, that really came from our hosts, Southern Africa Yearly Meeting, where Ubuntu has become so central to the way that they understand and interpret and communicate their Quakerism.
In our language, one of our languages is Zulu. Yeah, we have this thing as Ubuntu, and then in Sotho and Tswana, so which means without you, there's no me. So it simply means that all of us, we need each other. We are common. The only difference is color. We share the same blood. The blood is red, all of us. So if ever we can link this thing of love, spread the word of love, like loving each other, treating each other as your brother or your sister, I think the world will be at a better place.
The question and the issues here is Ubuntu spirit being used or being taken as an advantage of historical injustice, where Africans just, things are done on them and we all dismiss things and say, okay, good, the Ubuntu spirit, we are all one, and we just forget and move forward? Is it being used as a tool to continue carrying on the injustices by the spirit of Ubuntu? Or do we need to move a step? Is Ubuntu a real answer to our issues, to address our historical injustices?
In Johannesburg, because the population of homeless people is just unbelievable. One of the friends here said, Dudu, you know we're bringing toiletries, and I would hate to take those toiletries back. Can we donate them? And I said, okay, I'll organize a box where we can throw in your half-used toothpaste, or half-used soap, whatever. And the thing is just multiplying, which is the real spirit of Ubuntu. We are each other's keepers.
Bali twataka nyingi, baraka nyingi, baraka twahitaji, tumepokea kiasi, bali twataka nyingi.
We have a job of weaving, of trying to put together a sense of this meeting. There are so many ideas that could come out of our concerns. We are taking the threads from the three groups and offering pieces of woven tapestry. After all of the three reflections, the three parts of the tapestry, we will offer a fourth piece of tapestry which we hope will unite friends in a sense of spiritual purpose.
We each have differences in how we express spirituality, in our views about the world, our ability and disability, and our experience of gender and sexuality, but we have been able to connect all the same.
In our discernment together, we have felt the Spirit move among us. Even as we have been imperfect vessels, in these challenging moments, we have learned that we can find an equal place at the table without needing to adopt the same identity.
We have sought to discern Spirit-led ways forward to honor our commitment to our three interconnected themes: care of creation, the healing of relationships in the light of historic and ongoing injustice, and nurturing Ubuntu. Our emerging concerns have been captured and woven together in a tapestry document.
We recognize that our three themes of Ubuntu and community, care for creation, and repairing historical and ongoing injustice are intertwined and inseparable.
The spirit of Ubuntu, the power of community, can also drive us to dig deep into the pain and trauma of the world, to face up to climate crisis and the ongoing effects of historical injustice.
In expanding our sense of the divine and our understanding of Ubuntu, we can say, I am because you are, and because creation is.
We grieve with God for the exponential impact of historical and ongoing injustice. Healing begins with sharing our stories, telling the truth, and listening deeply.
I want to read the final bit of the weaving. And this is a prayer.
God of love and grace, we are a beautiful and broken people.
Living in a beautiful and broken world.
We confess that we have fallen short in caring for each other and for creation.
As a faith community, we ask you to forgive us for neglecting creation and for inflicting grave injustices upon one another.
Give us the courage and wisdom to move forward boldly.
Grant us the strength to seek each other's forgiveness.
And the love and courage to hold both pain and possibility in our hearts.
We ask that you send us on a new journey with our fellow humans and all your creatures.
In the spirit of Ubuntu. Amen.
We your people sing your praises as together we are sent to reveal a new creation in the shadows of lament. Give us courage for the journey. Shepherd Jesus, be our guide. Help us lead with hope and passion till all things are reconciled.
This is what I like about Quakerism, is that it's kind of, we live in a way that we feel is important, but we don't impose that on other people. And it's almost like that we shine brighter because we're all together.
How can I describe mighty God like you? For you are bigger than any other gods. How can I describe mighty God like you? For you are bigger.
In my spiritual journey, I always try to be connected whether I'm silence or I'm in noise. Sometimes it's difficult because sometimes I find difficulty to connect God in silence. Sometimes I difficult find in noise. But I'm trying my best.
Other gods. Oh, what a privilege to worship at your throne, for you are bigger than any other god.
We are going through our challenges, obviously, but you also then are able to appreciate the challenges other people elsewhere in the world are going through, which are different from yours. Then you realize we are all the same. As much as we have our own differences, but really, what brings us together, we are friends. We are all human beings. We are all creations, God's creation. That's what I've really carried from this conference, that we really should treat each other as human beings, as normal people, despite our challenges, despite what we are going through in our lives.
Auma okata ewa ewololo ewa ewololo auma okata. How can I describe mighty God like you? For you are bigger than any other gods. Oh, what a privilege to worship at your throne. For you are bigger than any other gods.
We are one. We're all in God's family. We all believe, but not all the same. We must love and care and pray for one another so that you and I might testify.
It's very easy to open up among Quakers because they're also very eager to open up about their own life and their own experiences. And even the most difficult things can become easy to talk about. And being able to have that connection, it softens a lot of the pain, and it really highlights the love that exists between people, no matter where you're from and no matter how you grow up, no matter how different your cultures are, your experiences are. I feel like moments like that are the perfect way of displaying that of God in everyone and seeing that directly